Welcome to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
So here we are on the Biz Gone Social podcast, and I am so glad to be here. And my promise to you, as always, is I want to give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that's going to help energize your business. Because after all, don't you want to be the business that everyone's talking about? I know I do. And I'm really stoked today to have with me Randy Varrese. Welcome, Randy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And tell me a little bit. I always interview business owners because they can add so much knowledge to people who are thinking of starting out or, are really struggling. And tell me a little bit about your business and what you do.
Well, can I just tell you that I had a landscape business, go back and then go to the present?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, yeah. So I had a landscape business for 35 years, and I loved it, and it just grew really, really well, and I had a great clientele. But with this day and age, the lack of help and worrying about if employees were going to show up, I came to the conclusion that I should sell my business, and I got out at a very good time. I was very lucky to sell it. So now I just do stump grinding, and it's something that I can do myself, and it's very lucrative, and I enjoy doing it. And I make people's lawns beautiful again, and they don't have all these eyesores all over. So it's what I'm doing. I'm grinding stumps, and it's just me, myself, and I. And I'm very happy doing what I'm doing.
That's awesome. There's probably many companies out there that do the same thing you do. What separates you? What makes you better than your competition?
Well, I do the job right. A lot of guys will come in and they'll grind a stump. And I work for a lot of contractors, and I've gotten jobs from these contractors. And this ABC stump grinding company would come in, grind the stump. Well, they didn't grind all the stump. They were trying to the landscapers were trying to put a tree in, and there was a big stump down there. So they just, they grind the top of it, throw some soil on the top. And so I get the whole stump, and I'm very cost effective. My prices are good, and I do good work. And so, and I'm honest. So it comes back to you.
Yeah, that's for sure. Forgive me if I'm a little bit, I'm not up on my, stump grinding, but so if I was gonna, if I was a customer and I was, I want the stump removed, you said that a lot of stump grinders, people who do this business, they don't do it right. Does that mean when you're grinding out the stump, does that mean that you actually get the roots, or do you put something in there to kill the roots, or am I off on this? Do I not know enough about this?
No, what we do is we grind the stump itself. It's a good question. You grind the whole stump, and we go down deep until it's no more. And then you do a lot of trees. All trees are different, but the maple tree puts out a lot of surface roots. And you really have to, we call it chasing roots. So a lot of times we have to go out and literally chase each root to where that they're not sticking up and the lawnmower is running over them. And so it makes it a nice lawn again that somebody can, just mow over and not hit roots and stumps. So yeah, we definitely chase roots, and we get them all. We try to anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense now. That's good, because I wouldn't have even known that. So what do you enjoy most? A lot of people, just do business. They just do it, but you can tell that they really don't like what they're doing. What do you enjoy most about doing what you do?
I guess the number one thing for that is being outside. I mean, I have a landscaper background. come winter time, I would always get this like seasonal disorder, because I'm not outside, and I found out like I would have every light in the house on, my electric bill would be like through the roof. But I just love being outside. I love being in the sun. I enjoy dealing with the customer and making sure that they're satisfied, and it's believe it or not, I mean, you think just, it would stump grinding, but it's definitely satisfying to go out, and especially if you have this huge stump and you just make it disappear, and we clean up the grindings, and if the customer wants, I give them the option of putting topsoil down and seeding, so I can do that too as well. But it's gratifying. I enjoy it.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I remember one time my father had hired somebody to do some painting for him, and there was something behind the wall, and they had they didn't like fix the hole in the wall and they just like kind of painted. I'm like, well, Dad, didn't, it's like, that would be like an obvious thing to patch up the hole in the wall and then paint, but
Right.
they didn't. And it was like little bizarre. What do you do to, there's new information out there always and everything. And I'm sure that in your field, there's new information every once in a while. Is there anything that you continue to learn or do to stay on top of the thing, to stay on top of your area of industry? Is there like any kind of, I don't know, is there something to join, or how do you stay on top of your industry? If there's like, learn about the best new tools, or, how is that done? Do you have something that you go to, or do you have a go-to, or?
Yeah, there are like some of these businesses near me that deal with, it's not just stump grinding, but they'll offer classes and tell you what's new. They'll have dealers out there, and if I can mention a name of one of the name brands is Rayco. So a Rayco dealer will be out, and he'll be telling us about the new and improved stump grinder, or the green teeth that we should start using on the grinders that last a lot longer than the old teeth. That, for people that don't know, they probably figure it out. The teeth on the grinder, they have carbide tips on them, and that's what it's attached to a wheel, and that's what actually grinds the stump, the teeth. So yeah, well, it's pretty much seminars, going to seminars and listening to the professionals.
That's awesome. And I'm sure that after you listen to some of these people, you want to buy everything that they.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's funny. It's just so funny that, it's like, even in my industry, there's all these, the software and the gadgets and, everything. And I always want the gadgets, I always want the software. So I totally get that. What would you say is, I have a lot of business owners that are listening to this right now. And what would you say is the biggest challenge of being in business for yourself?
The biggest challenge. Well, I've only been doing, after I sold my landscape business, I've only been really doing this for a year. So I haven't really had any real big challenges, to be honest with you. It just, I guess it would be advertising. I need to, put my company out there, because once I grind a stump for Mrs. Smith, it's done. I have to look for the next stump. With my landscaping business, it was all repeat work. The customers, they called me every year, soup to nuts, for mulch, flowers, grass cutting, you name it. And we did that every year. It was guaranteed. So that is pretty much the answer to that question.
What would you say some of the challenges were when you owned your landscaping business?
Help, keeping help. That number one, and I still talk to guys I'm friendly with, and they envy me for getting out, and they're just like they're going nuts, because I mean it was bad before the pandemic, and people aren't showing up, and the quality of help has gone down immensely, and you just can't keep good help. They're not out there, and a lot of these kids, they don't even want to be bothered. They want to be in front of a computer, and which I get. It's just the sign of the times, and it's just not my industry. It's plumbers, electricians. I hear it from all contractors, is the help is the number one challenging factor. So
absolutely. And I know, I think I shared this with you before, that my brother-in-law is a landscaper, and my husband had recently met this person through another person who was looking for a job. And he was so like wanting the work. And they showed up, I guess, for a week, did a really good job. And he kept on texting my husband and telling him how thankful he was for the job. And then finally he never showed up again to the job. And was like, we're just like perplexed. It's like, you need the money, you need the work, and then you just don't show up.
I don't get that. I just don't get it. I've interviewed people, and they sounded like the best employees since sliced bread, and they did this and they talked themselves up. Monday morning, no show. Don't answer their phone. What happened? I don't get it.
I think the key is always to have payday on Monday, because they're guaranteed to show up on Monday if payday is on Monday.
That is really awesome. I like that.
So, yeah. So on a lighter side, I've been really enjoying this interview with you, but I don't like to tell me something interesting about yourself that most people don't know.
Oh boy, give me time to think about that question. That people don't know. Well, I love, as you know, I love being outside, and I love boating and going to the Jersey Shore each weekend, and just having a good time, and it's pretty much it.
That's awesome, though. I mean, we live in the best area for boating and getting out in the sun. I mean, it's not it's not 365 days, of course, but our summers they're the best. They really are. One piece of advice that you can give someone just starting out in their business. One piece of advice.
One piece of advice for starting out. I would say, keep it small. I mean, like, don't get too big too fast, especially in this day and age, because if you get, too super busy, and you can't handle the work, and then you start losing work, and then it's counterproductive. So, I say that, thinking about employees, so, if you, I would say start small and work your way up.
Great advice. I think a lot of people, we always want to go to scale. And with scaling is a lot of responsibility and a lot more money. So it's, my husband has always said that I always would ask him, my husband's a plumbing contractor, and I would always ask him, why don't you just grow bigger? And he said, because, oh my gosh, it's a whole new set of headaches. And it really is, because it's a baby. He always says it's a babysitting. It becomes a babysitting business instead of a plumbing business. So at any rate.
Yeah. So I just add just a little tidbit to that. After I sold my landscape business, I was just taking on so much. I wore many, many hats. I was the designer, I was the estimator, I was the mechanic, and I really didn't have time to do the things I really love to do, which is boating and fishing and all that. So I just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry right now, but I just talked too fast. But
we were talking about scaling and everything, and
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So I had my first physical since I sold my business, and first time in 10 years, probably 15 years actually. My doctor said, well, I don't know what you did, but your blood pressure is in the normal range, which it ran high for like 15 years. So I was like,
wow. So
yeah. So
no more stress.
No more stress. And that's what I mean. I love what I do. It's just me, myself, and I, and I'm really enjoying it. And
that's awesome. And you know what? I always, when I didn't have somebody working for me, I have one person that works for me now, but I always used to tell my family, guess who's employee of the month this month? And they would look at me all weird. I said, I'm the employee of the month. So every month you get to be the employee of the month. Isn't that amazing?
Yes. Love it.
So anyways, Randy, thank you so much for being on the Biz Gone Social podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this interview with you and getting to know a little bit about your business. And to everyone out there, if you're in the local area of Pennsylvania, where in Pennsylvania?
Bluebell, Pennsylvania. We're in Montgomery County.
All right. Well, be sure to contact Randy, because if you have a stump to grind, he can grind it. And he got a brand new machine to do it. So he wants to use it. So give him a call.
Appreciate it.
All right. Take care, everybody. Till next week. I'll see you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social podcast. Find us on Instagram at Biz Gone Social for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.